Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's go through a couple notes here. We're going to talk about hotels and occupancy. So obviously, we've been talking about in this whole chapter that we're this unit 3 that we're in. It's chapter 8. We've been talking about traveling and going on vacations and reading a map and getting an Uber and now in this particular section is the actual hotels. So maybe you have to stay in a hotel or a motel, that type of thing. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the main topic here. So now there's in hotels or motels, typically hotels, motels wouldn't have this. In hotels, there's 3 type of occupancy types of rooms you could get depending on the type of hotel you choose. There's single occupancy, there's double, and then there's a suite. A lot of people don't know the differences, why they would have such a thing. So single occupancy is for 2 or less people. Right? You have a couple staying together. Obviously, a single occupancy, 1 bed, that type of thing. A double occupancy, this is for 4 or less people. And then your suite is for 5 or more. So, why you'd ever have a suite? So let's say you're going to a major city. You can go to New York, Las Vegas, LA, San Francisco, and you're going with a bunch of friends. You could pick a suite that has more than 1 room to it. It's not just 1 single room with a bed. There would actually be like a kitchen area. There'd be a formal dining room area. There would actually be a couple bedrooms, a couple couches. They're bigger. It's almost like an apartment. And so, what was that? Yeah, basically. So it's meant for like larger groups. It does save you a lot of money. They're expensive, don't get me wrong, especially if you're in a major city. They're quite expensive, but overall, it would save you money because you'd be dividing those hotel rooms up amongst the 5 or 6 people. So, what was that?
Is how many people? 5 or less?
Yep. And a double is 4 or less. 4 or less. Yep, 4 or less. And then a suite is 5 or more people. So, but again, double occupancy, they don't have to offer you 2 beds. It could be like a bed and a couch. So just be careful of like what you're getting when you actually get a double occupancy room. See what they're actually offering. Those are like the questions I always ask. Sometimes it's just nice to know the price differences. Like, hey, what's the price of a single? What's the price of a double? What's the price of a suite here if you have a suite? Because maybe in that terms, maybe it's one of those things like you need to reevaluate. Maybe the suite is way too expensive, or sometimes like in Vegas they call them a villa, right? Instead of a suite, it could be called a villa. So that's a bigger room. But yeah, so in those things, like those are the questions you need to ask. How many beds are in there? I wouldn't necessarily ask how many people can go in those rooms. I would just ask like how many beds are offered? What's the price? How many nights can I stay there at that price? That's the big thing because the prices change per day, per week. Because they know on weekends people are traveling, so the prices go up. During the week, they're lower. Especially like on a Tuesday and Thursday, the hotel prices are really cheap. No one's staying there Tuesday and Thursday. They're coming on Fridays, staying through Monday. Or in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. Because it's the middle of the week and they're traveling. So there's these like Tuesdays and Thursdays are the cheapest days for hotels. A lot of people don't know that. Same with airlines. A lot of people don't fly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the airline prices are super cheap. That's something we'll talk about tomorrow. But now, talking about the hotels and stuff. So this example, this is just one that was in your textbook, so I just kind of pulled it out of there. This is called the Highgate Inn. It's got daily rates. So the big thing is this is actually pretty practical to most hotels. They have different rates depending on the time of year. As you can see these. Which ones are the most expensive? Well, if you look at this, which one?
February through April.
Yeah. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, February through April, why is that more expensive than like the holiday time in the winter? Why would a hotel be more expensive from February to April? Say it. Spring break. They know it. They're going to get people traveling on spring break. Summer is usually the cheapest time because everybody's traveling at that point and they're staying at any hotel. They're not going to try to compete with the other hotel chains. They're going to try to be cheaper to get people to stay at their hotel during the during the summer months. But on spring break, they know people are forced to travel, so all the travel agencies jack up their prices. They know they're getting people to stay there no matter what. They don't have to compete anymore. They know they're going to fill those rooms, so they can start to maximize those profits. So that's a big thing. A lot of people don't realize that. Then obviously in December, the winter months, those are also very, very expensive because they know people are traveling. So it's just like spring break. They can jack up the price a little bit to make sure that they can maximize those profits. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So you need to know. So if you're going to stay at a hotel from let's say October 1st through the 4th, you need to know what their prices are. So in this case, on my chart up here, the one that I'm using, let's leave that there. Better take a screenshot of this. The one that I'm staying at on this particular one, I'm staying in October, so that is that one. This is where I'm staying. So then I'd need to know, okay, how many people am I having? Okay, so let's say I'm going with 3 friends. So now I'm going to be checking, okay, should we get 3 singles? Should we get a double and a single? Should we get a suite? What should we get? So that it works out in our favor. So in my case, if I get 3 singles, okay, so I'm just comparing. These are the things I always contemplate, right? So if I'm getting 3 single rooms, okay, that means I'm taking 3 times the $39.50. So 3 times $39.50. What was that? $118.50. Okay, so each person would pay $39.50 by themselves. It'd be a total of $118 per night. Per night. Not for the whole stay, per night. So you'd have to take that, however many days you're staying there. October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You're staying there 4 nights, technically. Or maybe it's 3 nights because maybe you're checking out on the 4th. It just depends on how many nights you're staying. So that's something you need to talk to your hotel about. It's like, okay, how many days will I be charged if I check in today through October 4th and I check out October 4th morning? Well, you'll only be charged 3 days. The 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and you're out the 4th day. So you're only charged 3 days at the hotel. Okay, so then I'm taking my $118.50 times 3. That's just what I talked to them about. Now, if you didn't like that number, fine. We can compare. Maybe you're going to stay, instead of 3 singles, you're going to go with 1 single and 1 double occupancy room. 1 single, 1 double. So that means you're going to have 1 at $39.50, and you're going to have 1 at the $49.50. And so your total there, $39.50 plus $49.50. You're paying $89. That's adding it up. You're totaling $89. Well, that's way cheaper than buying 3 singles. So now we're talking way less numbers. So if we're saying for 3 nights, it's 3 times 89. Significantly cheaper. But if you get a suite, that's 5 or more people, right? 5 or more. So, and that price is $15.50. So if I went with that route, and I went with a suite, 1 suite, or a villa, however you want to say it, that's $115.50. So as you can see, by just knowing what you should do, it saves me a lot less money. I should be doing those single and double occupancy rooms. Some people don't think that way. They're like, oh, just get the suite. It's just 1 room. Yeah, but it's more expensive. It might make more sense for 5 people, but not 4 or 3. So even if I chose, if I had 4 people going with me, $49.50 times 2, because I'd have 2 double occupancy rooms, right? If I had 4 people, it'd be $99. Still cheaper than a villa, a suite. Maybe you want to be in 1 room together. That's fine. Maybe that's what's going to. Maybe that's going to affect your choice, right? But I wouldn't. You really got to think about the math that's involved. How much is a suite? how much is a double, how much is a single, how many nights, will there be any price changes over that time frame? Because, I just picked in October. That's right in the middle of this time frame. But if I chose to stay, so let's do my next example here. Let me go back and take a screenshot of that. But if I chose to stay from, let's say, December 15th through the 21st, there's a price change now. So maybe it's just me and my wife, right? We're going on vacation. So it's 2 people. So we're going to have just a single occupancy room. So a single occupancy room over December. So in the beginning, it's $39.50. So that's for the 15th. That's for the 16th. So 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. And then I'm going to stay probably another night on the 20th, right? Because I'm going to check out on the 21st. So I'll stay on the 20th. Well, that was a different price now. So now that one was $59.50 for just staying on the 20th. Does that make sense? You have to pay attention. That's a question I have for the hotels. Like, hey, if I check in now and I stay through the 21st, is there going to be any price changes? If I check out earlier, or if I, will there be a significant change in price, or is it just a flat rate for all 5 days that I stay? They'll tell you, oh, it's going to cost you this, but was there a price change? Maybe I should check out a day earlier to save money and check in somewhere else. Because maybe some other hotel doesn't have their changes until the 23rd. So that's just something that you want to think about. Usually most hotels, and this is the weird thing, most hotels have the same prices. Most hotels have the same prices because they're trying to compete with everyone else. Yes, there can be major benefits to staying in a certain hotel or not, but usually they always have the same prices. So you're just trying to pick out what's the better location. That's really what it comes down to. And that's what you pay for usually. It's the location that you're at. You could be at a hotel, right? And you're at a hotel, maybe you're going on spring break, let's say, right? So you're on spring break. So this is my next example. Let me take a screenshot of that. So this is my last example. Let's say you're on spring break and you're choosing to stay with, 4 of your friends. Okay, so over spring break. So it's in this time frame. Maybe it was like March 10th. March 10th through the 13th. You're going to stay just a few nights over spring break, right? And you're staying with 4 friends. So in that case, maybe you want to see, okay, if I need to get 2 double occupancy rooms, 94.50 times 4, it's, or 94.50 times 2, I should say. So I need 2 double occupancy rooms, okay? So 2 doubles. It's going to be $189. If I just got a suite, it would have been $190.5. Maybe that dollar difference, maybe that changes your mind. Maybe you're like, it's only $1 more. Let's just stay in one room, so we can hang out, right? If I was getting 4 singles, I would not want to do that. 4 singles, $79.50 times 4. That's $318. So significantly difference, right? But here's the thing. Let's say you're staying at your hotel on your spring break. If you chose to be on Oceanside versus non-Oceanside, the price is half. Same hotel, same room. You wouldn't even tell the difference. Just when you look out the window, you wouldn't see the ocean, and it'd be half as much. That's something you need to seriously consider. Always when you're going to stay at a hotel, you're going to book a hotel, always check those online sites, right? And I'll give you a list here. There's like Trivago, Orbitz, Priceline. Like there's a ton of these sites. I have a whole list. I'll pull up a document here. It's one of those things that you need to compare. It's okay to call the hotel and be like, hey, I'm thinking about staying these nights. What would the prices be? Is there anything that's cheaper? Like if I stay on the other side of the hotel, is this oceanside or non-oceanside? Because they won't tell you like, oh, well, if you stay on non-oceanside, it's about half the cost. I want those tickets. I want that stay, even though it's the same hotel. Now, yeah, it's great to have that ocean view, of cool. Half the price though. That's more traveling for you. That's more activities you can do later. And so that's something that you just need to think about sometimes. Some people don't really, consider that when they're going through and they're doing their traveling. So let me bring up a list here of travel sites. I'll share it on my iPad screen right here. I don't know where it's opening. I don't know where it went. It might come up here, it might come on my iPad. I don't know where it's going to be. There it is. Okay, perfect. All right, let's bring this up. Okay, here it is. Okay. Let's airdrop that right to my iPad. You guys can all see this all at once. There's all my photos. All right, there you go. So it was my photo library. Sorry, it opens up automatically. Okay. All right, there you go. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at different travel sites. So obviously the travel sites we're looking at is Booking.com, Expedia, Kayak, Hipmunk, Priceline, Hotwire, Travel Advisory, Orbitz, Trivago. Certain ones I've crossed out. Certain ones are really good for just hotels. Some are really good for just like airline flights. So I put little lines through ones that probably won't give you just hotels. They have to have a flight with it. But yeah, these are things like I would if I'm going on a research, I would look at every one of these sites and look at the same location, because every one of these sites will have a different hotel that's chained with them on that same island or same city or whatever it is, and so they'll offer you different prices. Now some will have comparable, like I know like Trivago at the very bottom, they're very like adamant about, hey, we have all these travel sites all in one on one website. Yeah, because they want you to come to their website, but they don't tell you is that they won't show you just the hotels that maybe just Booking.com would, because Booking maybe has just a private deal with a different company that won't be displayed on other websites. So that's something you need to look at. So I click through these and I'll search for tickets and I'll look for hotels and I do a lot of research when I'm going to the same location. Maybe I can find a hotel that's closer to where I want to be and it's way cheaper. Or I'll once I find a hotel, what I'll do is I'll call that hotel and I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about staying these nights. What are the prices you guys can offer me right now? Because maybe the in-person talking to them on the phone is cheaper than the website will offer. Sometimes you can negotiate with them a little bit. So that's something that you should think about. It's always nice to call them in person, talk to somebody instead of, getting a robot, dealing with you behind the scenes. Some of these websites can offer some crazy deals though. Like the hotel won't even think about because they're just trying to fill it. So it's one of those things like you definitely want to consider using one of those travel sites. Now I'm not endorsing any of them by any means. I'm just saying that it's smarter when you start to travel, when you should be thinking about those. Okay. All right. Questions though. Okay. Here's what I want. The Google question of the day went live. I think it was just, I think the question of the day was like, what are the differences between a double, single, and a suite occupancy or a villa? So you just have to explain that in words. So go do that. We have homework due tomorrow. So you want to make sure you're working on that. You have 10, 15 minutes here. You can just kind of work on your assignment. You can work on it at your own pace. We have a test this Friday in here. And that's even for those who are at home, on Zoom. Make sure that you are in a camera spot where you can have the camera tilted so I can just see your hands. I don't need to see anything else. I just need to see your hands. I don't need to see the up down version so I can see your test. I don't need to see that. I just need to see that you're not reaching for a cell phone, that you're on camera the whole time. I want your microphone unmuted so I can hear you. And then the big thing is that I don't want, for any reason, I don't want the camera to go, I don't want you to go off camera for anything. If you need to calculate, make sure you have everything you need in front of you. I know it's not the greatest thing to get a test online. I've done it, for some of you have actually done it for me before. It's not bad. It goes pretty quick. So I'll just have my, my
So
test
is it like
shared.
on key?
What was that?
How do you?
No, I basically just have my screen on the Zoom shared with you, and the test will be on my screen. So it's like my iPad. I'll just
So
have the
you
test
just
question.
do it on paper?
Yeah, just do it on paper, and then when you're done with it, you'll just take a screenshot, and then you'll share that picture back to me on, or like you share your screenshots back to me on Google Classroom. You'll attach them and submit it back to
So
me.
if we're done, we
So.
can take a picture with
Yep.
the phone and then.
Yep. So on camera, you're going to do that. So like right when you're done with your test, like, hey, Ward, I'm done with your test. Okay, perfect. I'll say, okay, on camera, take a picture of it. Boom, you take a picture, you submit it to me instantly, right there, live on camera. So I see that I get it, and I'll confirm yes or no. I haven't got it yet. And then when you got it, you can check off. I would expect, I don't know, about 8 questions. So what I do is I share one question at a time. So when everyone's done with that question, then we move to the next one. For the people in the room, you guys will just take it on paper as normal. So I can really focus on the people that are, on Zoom.
I'd rather take
So.
it on paper.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't make a difference. As long as I have a calculator in front of me, it really won't make any difference. So, and if there's a chart like this that you need, I'll have it shared with you. It'll be right on the test. So don't feel like you're not going to have anything that that everyone else would have. So. But yeah, all right. Any questions for those at home? For those that are here?
No.
Okay, homework's due tomorrow. End of midterms coming up this Friday. Make sure you submit your homework. You probably can tell by Google Classroom if things are late. It tells you haven't submitted it yet. If you know you're going to be gone, make sure you're checking in. I have really good participation on Zooms. So remember, if you're not in the Zoom with me, you're counted absent. So keep that in mind. So if you're supposed to be Zooming, you need to be Zooming. So
like even if we answer the question late.
Yeah,
so
you're still counted. You're still counted absent. So yeah, unless you talk to me ahead of time. Some people are really good at like, hey, Ward, I can't make it. I got this going on. I'll tell you to talk to the office. They'll let me know, and that way you're excused. Okay, because it's still a normal day of class. You still have to report at normal times. That's what the office would like. So, all right, but that's it. If you guys are good, for those online, thanks for tuning in. You guys can log off and go answer your Google question. You guys are good to go for today. Thanks. Stop the recording here.